But so here's my list. I actually do like this game, and I made this list because I like the game and I would love to see it better, and it's early access. So here's how you can improve. I know third person came late, right? It wasn't originally designed, but there is no zoom in and out on third person. Mm-hmm. When I scroll the mouse wheel in a third person game, I have to zoom in and out of my character, because when sometimes you're up close and you want to zoom in because you want a good look at something, and then you're running around and you want to zoom out to see your surrounding a little better. You never want one static locked position where the character is always about that big on screen, always, 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 no matter what. My hand, that's Nightingale's character right there. All the time, never changes. It's always right there. You can't zoom in and out to make that character bigger or smaller. Third person camera, too low, too centered. It's too low. The character is up really high and it's just a little off center. So when you look up, your camera just digs into the ground right away. You ever notice that? Your camera just digs into the ground. And it's frustrating to kind of get a good look at things, like look at other people's games. Valheim is one of the best at third person camera, zoom in, zoom out, its position, everything. Actually, I wish that Valheim had a slider so you could reposition the character up and down and left and right, like Pal World, I think, has it. And I repositioned my camera because their camera was in a terrible position too. And I said, nope, I'm changing it. Can change field of view, which helps a bit. So you can get wider, so you can have a little bit, like, you don't feel like the character's so close to the screen because you could change the field of view. That helps a little bit, but that's not being able to zoom in and out at will. You can't maneuver in the air when you jump. I know physics, nobody can really jump this up and then go to the right. Nobody can really do that in real life.
Yeah.
But in video games, it gives us a feel of control of our character.
And it's a fantasy game.
The way you float, when you float, if you maneuver the mouse button in a particular direction.
No, that's floating. I'm talking about jumping. If you jump and you push to the right, you will not veer to the right a little bit. In Valheim and in every other game, they did that because it feels better. Even though it's not realistic, it gives your character, especially like if you're doing any kind of parkour or jumping from here to a ledge, or there's an enemy and you jump and at the last minute you go like that while you're in the air. It just feels better. It's always felt better. I remember 20 or 30 years ago when games started adding that when you jump, you can actually move in the air. It feels better. And I think, was it World of Warcraft did that, where you jump and you can move a little bit in the air and you suddenly start to feel like, wow, it feels way more like control, intuitive. Now I feel like I'm more immersed in what my character is doing, because when you jump, you can move in the air a little bit. I would love to see that. Yeah. Even first-person games have that. Like most first-person games, you could jump and go off to the side a little bit. Borderless window mode forces highest resolution, which lowers frames per second.
Oh.
Really?
If I play at a lower resolution, imagine this monitor here that you see me in is 4K. When I play at 1920 by 1080 to get a higher frame rate, the window literally appears that big on the screen. And if I resize it to full screen, it goes to 4K resolution. I cannot lower the resolution and also have full screen. So I'm always playing at a lower frame rate than I want to play.
Wow.
Every other game lets me play at 1920, but full screen 4K. I don't know why that's a thing. I don't understand why that's a thing. Tutorial message closes too soon. Should close when I close it. Up in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, so where you're looking at right here, right around here is where this little tutorial message comes up. It while you're doing something, it pops up and it says, do this when you blah, 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 and you can do blah, 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 blah. And I'm doing something and I'm watching the center of the screen and I'm finishing whatever I'm doing and I see it pop up and then I look up at it and I start to read it and then it fades away. And I'm like, I just read the last 5 tutorial messages halfway through. And I don't even know where to go to pull up that message again to try to finish reading it. So I just missed it. If you're going to show me something, leave it on screen. Let me, I know clicking to close it would be annoying. Let me hit escape or something, just like, it could say ESC on it in the upper corner so I could hit escape and it'll close it, but, or leave it on longer. Like almost every tutorial message that ever popped up, I never read the whole thing because it went away too quickly. NPCs should talk while I move around or sort inventory, etc. There's this one character that talks to you, especially in the beginning. It's like a magical character that floats. He sounds amazing and the voice acting amazing and the writing is really good, but he should talk to your character, talk while your character is able to move around, sort your inventory, etc. Being locked in a dialogue screen is annoying. So he talks slow and I got to sit there and either listen to him or click through it. Now I want to hear him talk because it sounds cool, but I don't want to be locked into a screen. Let me click on him and step back. And while he's talking, I can look around to see if there are any enemies nearby. I can maybe chop a tree down or pick up some rocks or open my inventory and start sorting it. I want to be able to do stuff. I hate being locked. I'm like, I talk to you, now I'm locked. I can't do anything. I'm locked. And he talks really slow. So you see, you will go and do, like, it sounds great, but I'm locked. What do you think about that?
I actually, because Nightingale doesn't have a Spanish voiceover, as far as I know. So not being in my first language is in English. So sometimes I prefer this locking because it lets me decide when I want to skip the dialogue, but it also lets me read it on my own because sometimes sometimes there's a lot of words. If I don't read them, I don't know what they are.
Well, yeah, so English being a second language for you, you have to pay a little bit more attention to what's being said, right?
Yeah, sometimes the accent of the way they pronounce it, or there are a few words I just.
But when he talks, it could be dialogue that appears in the conversation window, which I've seen in other games. So you could always go back to the conversation window and reread it, right? Like something like that. But locking me in while he's talking is so frustrating because he talks so much and so long. I mean, it sounds great, and I do want to hear everything he says. I just don't want to be stuck not doing anything while he is talking. So let's see. So there's this weird thing. I said lag timer when building. And when you build something, it like places a hologram of the thing, right? Before it actually places the wall. Like it's not Valheim where it just places the piece. It places a hologram first, kind of like in Dynasty, right? Medieval Dynasty. Like it's a hologram and you got to build it up. So it's sort of the same way. But once you build it up, it changes color. And I was standing there and I was waiting and I was waiting and I was waiting and I was waiting. And I was like, is this server lag? Why is it not building? It's not building. And come to find out, it's because I'm standing too close to it or something. And when I step away, then it changes color and then it builds. And I'm like, there's no indication of this. I'm just standing there waiting for it to build. And I'm like, come on, why can't it just build while I'm standing underneath it? Why does this matter? Like I build the tent. Like the tent is one of the first things you build. Place the hologram, add the materials, and I'm standing there and nothing's happening. Then I step back and it changes color and it builds. It's like, oh, that is so not intuitive. That is really, really frustrating. So now every time I build something, I run away from it to let it build and then come back. I don't understand why you can't be there. Like, it's frustrating.
Yeah, because Medieval Dynasty, like, it's true. It's not a server game, but you have the respawn in the moment you interact.
Yeah, when you add the material, it builds it right away, right? The hologram fills in.
Yeah.
I don't know why it doesn't just fill in right away when I add the materials. I don't understand.
If you are in the middle of the grouping, it won't let you, and it tells there's something blocking it, so you need to move first.
Yes, absolutely.
And Valheim, even in the server, Valheim has the respawn because they did it in a way that first it goes local, then it goes to server. So you have the respawn of building something.
Yeah. This was actually a feature that I liked about the game. I know this is a list of mostly fixes, but I was also writing down things that I liked. It's how do you pick something up and move it? Like a lot of games like Valheim, you have to break it down, pick up the resources, go somewhere else and rebuild it, right? This game is actually kind of neat. When you get into the build menu, you can target something and then hit X, and then you get the little hologram of the thing. Even the chest, even a chest that's full of items, you can grab the full chest as a hologram, move it over here, place the hologram there, and then it places and it builds and everything is in it. And you can do that with a lot of stuff. So I don't know if you can do it with a complete building yet, because I haven't tried that. But build pieces, workbenches, chests, your tent. It's very nice. Just target it, hit X, move it. Like, because if you place something and then you build something in Valheim, right? Like, you remember when you built that ship for us for the build for boulders?
Oh, yeah.
I said, hey, can you move it? Well, yeah, we could do it now with the blueprint mod, but back in the day, we didn't have that. So you rebuilt it in a different position, which was a pain in the butt for you.
I had to restart, basically.
Yeah, you have to restart.
I need to break everything to have it clean and then build everything back.
I know. But in this game, I don't know about the whole build. I'm hoping you can do the whole build, but yeah, being able to just grab it and move it a little bit over, just a tiny bit, is nice. Yeah. And place it down, especially with chests, right? So you don't have to empty a chest, be overweight, try to move it to a new chest. That's really frustrating. So that's awesome. Let's see. Press and hold attack for power attack. Now, I guess in most games, you assume that this is something you can do, but I don't remember a tutorial explaining this to me. And I was several hours into the game before I realized I could do this. So it just felt like this should have been more obvious to me. Like maybe even with just like a hotkey somewhere that, mentioned or on screen.
Yeah, because it's something like really normal in RPG games. Maybe not in some of the Valheim doesn't have it. But Valheim tell you, click to attack, press the mouse scroll for the special attack.
Yeah.
And you have at least, there's the difference.
Yeah, there are games that have a lot of crossover with how it plays, and that just like holding it to power up is something that I didn't think about with the way that the game was presented. The way I was going through it. But I should have tried it because in Return to Moria, I think if you press and hold, you get a power attack. And so, anyways, that was just my stupid. I didn't realize it right away. They have a bug right now where NPCs are floating. They'll be floating in the air, or they'll be floating half in a rock or something. And like they're like, you can run up and hit them in the head and they just kind of sit there and look at you because they can't move because they're stuck in a rock. So there's some, there's some bugs which you would expect, which is fine. Yeah. Hold E to loot all. It's needed. It doesn't do it. It needs it.
It doesn't.
Oh, it's so annoying. All this stuff falls on the ground and you have to go around. E. Like, I love Valheim. You just have auto pickup on and you walk around and you pick up anything that's sparkling, right?
Yeah.
Games, what is it? Pal World, which allows you to hold E and it picks up everything. Is it Pal World or in Shrouded? I can't remember.
I think it's in Shrouded. Pal World has a button. It has a button in the Y in the.
Oh, you just run over it too in Pal World, right?
You have a auto pickup. In Valheim, you have a hotkey for disabling the auto pickup too if you don't want.
Yeah. It's in Shrouded where you hold E and it picks up everything. I prefer just let me run over and pick it up so I don't have to do anything. But at least in Shrouded has hold E. No, Nightingale doesn't have hold E, nothing. You have to click every single item on the ground. It's very annoying. When you're overweight, extract items to gain essence dust, which is used for repairs. So this was kind of a tip that I wrote. Like if you're carrying a bunch of stuff and say you got a bunch of rocks or dirt or something that's really heavy and it's easy to get. So you have other stuff that's more important to you. You can just like you can turn everything into essence in that game. So you might as well turn the heavy stuff into essence if you don't really need it to lighten your load. So
the essence you say was a currency. You can use it also to repair the items.
Yes, essence is used to repair, and it's also used as currency with the NPC vendors to buy stuff.
Oh, so okay, this is a great tip. Yeah.
Yeah. This way, I wish Valheim had something like this because we just have so much loot and it's all too much in every chest and everything. Like in this game, if you have too much of something, just turn it into essence and you can use it to repair. You can use it to buy stuff. It's all fine.
Oh.
Let's see. Build menu jumps when clicking on it. Okay, so they have this build menu and you scroll to different pieces, right? So I go down to the next piece that I want and I click on it and the build menu goes, whoop. Then I have to scroll down again to that piece that I want to build and I click on it and it jumps.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is it doing that? I want to build that piece. And you just have to do it over and over and over. And eventually one time it'll finally select it. And I'm just like going, what? This is too buggy. This is too buggy. I can't even click on something in the build menu and build it because it jumps over and over. So obviously they have some interface things they need to fix. Let's see, I wrote, doesn't have craft from storage, but you can move build pieces, which I mentioned earlier. You can move build pieces. So you can't craft from storage. And this game, you have to take the components and build the build piece and then place the build piece because it doesn't have a crafting hammer. It's so frustrating. So I have to run to every chest, which I can't label my chests. I can't label my chest. So I have to check every chest for the stuff that's in it, pull it out, build the item, which is then there, build it. Oh, I don't have enough roof pieces. Okay, go get the individual item, build the roof piece. It's in my inventory. Oh, and I can't click the build piece because it keeps jumping away from me. So...
This is the same as in Shrouded. You need to build a build piece so you can place it. I don't like that. I really don't. It's like anti-intuitive. Why I will build a roof on my inventory? But
you build it in place, right? You build it in place. Yeah. It's like, here's a roof piece, Vaste. Now go put it up on your building.
Yeah.
Let's see. So can't pull things to hotbar when in a container.
Really?
Not pull, can't hotkey it. I mean, can't hotkey things to a hotbar. Okay, so when you have your inventory open, you can like double. I think you can click it into your hotbar. No, maybe you can't even. I think you have to drag it. But when you have a container open, it's the container, your inventory, and your hotbar. You cannot click things, shift click or double click or anything out of your hotbar.
Yeah.
And they're not in your inventory. Yeah, not from your inventory or from the container. You can't go to your hotbar.
I mean, the hotbar was like the piece on the hotbar is on your inventory?
No, not like Valheim. Valheim's one of the few games that does that. Most other games have a separate hotbar.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can click something from your inventory into your hotbar, but you can't do it the other way around. And if you have a container open, you can't then click it into your hotbar or the other way around. It's just so frustrating. Like hotbar, inventory, container, like let me click stuff over, having to grab everything and then move it here and then grab it and move it is very frustrating. We're so used to just hotkeying things where we want it to go. Let's see. Left and right hand slots is very limiting. 1 through 5 and 6 through 0. But I have 2 or 3 weapons and I have 4 tools. So I have all this stuff and I only have 5 hotbars for it. So every time I want to swap something, I have to open my inventory. And because I can't hotkey it, I have to drag it out and drag it in and then drag it out, drag it in.
But
no. Give me 1 through 0. As a matter of fact, why games don't give me tilde through the plus sign I want all 13 hotkeys. Give me all 13 hotkeys and let me decide what goes in where.
I have a question. If you place like the axe in your left hand, you can use it normally?
You can't place it in your left hand.
All
their items in their game are either right hand items or left hand items.
Then it makes less sense, because if you have a preset of what goes where, just give 1 to 0 like any other game, and you already have the presets of which hand it goes.
Yeah. If I equip the item, it should just appear in my left hand, right? Like if I put either one on hotkey 6, if it's a right hand item, it'll go in the right hand. If it's a left hand item, it'll go in the left hand. Why are you making it's so frustrating too? Because like, say you need something, you want something quick accessible, right? So it's right above the WASD keys, but it's a left-hand item. Now you got to take your hand off the keyboard, reach way over to 6 through 10 to activate that item when you really want it right above you in 1 through 5.
Yeah.
Why is this a thing? Why are you doing it differently than games have been doing it for 20 years? You just broke the system.
The only way I can think that is okay is if you can choose in which weapon, in which hand goes anything. Like there's no difference between left and right, but if you have the difference, then you don't need the hotbar for each hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want one hotbar, and I'll take 1 through 0, but I want tilde through plus. But yeah, lots of typos in the game. Why you don't run this all through a spell check? Like, don't things get typed up in a word processing program first, like Google Docs or something, or a spreadsheet program, because it'll point out the typos. But yeah, as you're reading something, you'll be like, oh, well, there's a typo. I mean, it's early access, typos happen, but run all your dialogue and your descriptions and everything through. There's some typos there. Let's see. Press track or right click to track crafting items. So this was a tip. You know how like, what do I need to build this thing? You can track it. So it'll come up on the side and it'll say you need 5 logs and 2 sticks and, 3 twine or whatever. That's nice. Cause then when you go to your chest, to pull out, what you need to pull out, but what's a better solution than that, Vaste? Just let me build from the container. If I'm within range of the container, just let me build from it. And Shrouded forces you to get things from the container until you can build the magic chest. Again, the magic chest you can build from the container. So at least you have that option. Once
the progression of learning to do the magic stuff, that is a good way to do it. Yeah,
so you have the option. And the magic chest is the same exact size as the chest before it. It's just magic. It allows you to build from it. So
you take
it feels like you've earned it, right?
One in the same place.
Yeah. If it makes you feel like you've earned it rather than just letting you do it from the start, which is like Return to Moria, you could just build from the chest right away. But it gives you something to like. First thing I wanted to build when I started building my house, I'm like, I'm not making a nice house. I'm just going to collect all the resources I need to build magic chests so I can build directly from the chest. Then I'll build my house.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah. Let's see. You can't shift click hotbar to inventory or vice versa. There's that note that clearly makes sense. Twitch drops. I have a love-hate relationship with Twitch drops because if you miss out on them, you never get to get them. Yeah. And I started watching a Twitch stream and then I just went to bed and let it run for 8 hours. And then I got all the Twitch drops. So
but you didn't
how does
claim
the system
them.
really make sense? You're just forcing us to let the computer play to nobody and all your advertisers. I guess your advertisers are still paying you money because the stream is running. So whatever, it's a stupid system. Like
it's a few free things for doing nothing. I got
but
them.
This is watch to win, like pay to win. All the Twitch drops you get are like twice as high as the things you can make at the same time in the game.
Progression. They are not cosmetic.
No,
I saw they were cosmetic.
they are higher
then
level by almost twice than everything I could build by the 10 hours I could play.
that's a problem then. Then you should lock it until the level progression. That's a big problem. I thought they were cosmetic. Like
It should really just be a
90% of the
skin
game.
that you apply and it changes the look. It shouldn't. It's actually a piece of equipment with higher level stats than anything I could make at the time that I got them. So
yeah,
watch to win.
Yeah, it's a PvE game, so it's like you don't have the PvP advantage, but you lose the point of being a survival game, like progression, like
everything I can get in between now and the time I reach that level is useless to me. I get a new thing, I just go, well, this is trash because it's not as good as the Twitch drop, right? That's no fun.
Unless if it's something you can get in the first hour or at the end of the tutorial, well, that's okay, that's acceptable. But if it defeats all the early progression, then you lose a big part of the gameplay and learning curve.
Yeah. So the game is your level is based on your gear, so your character doesn't actually level up. It just has a gear level, and you have to reach like gear level 20 to advance to like the next stage and to enter some of the dungeons. But once you get the Twitch drops, it advances you well past gear level 20. I forget what gear level I went to, but like it drops you way past that, and so it's like, okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, that's a problem.
There's your Twitch drop system. Let's see, what do I have here next? Right-click NPC gear to equip. Steal clothes for yourself. Oh, this was a tip. So you can recruit this NPC. I think you you make like level 10 gear by the time you get to this one NPC. And the NPC has like level 15 or 16 gear. And once it becomes your NPC, it's like your follower.
Yeah.
I stripped the NPC, put all of its gear on me, and then gave all of my level 10 gear to the NPC. So it's like a tip to increase your gear level quickly.
Same problem as before. You advance without doing nothing.
Well, yeah, I advance kind of in a way that I shouldn't. Here's a thing. This is actually too easy to get essence, right? Like there's the water exploit. Well, once you make a sickle, you can harvest way more fiber, and you just turn fiber into essence. And that's how I was able to buy everything the vendor had offered to me before I reached 10 hours in the game. And I was just like, well, this was way too easy to get everything. I kind of felt like I didn't earn it. Right? I went around for 20 minutes and collected, fiber, but
they need to do some balancing, especially if they want to go through the MMO route, like jumping into other people's worlds at random. They need to do some balance with the essence.
Yeah. Fast travel, map, travel to respite. Okay. So I didn't understand how to travel back to my base. Like you can fast travel. I didn't understand how to do it. Maybe it was explained somewhere and I missed it, or I wasn't paying attention. I actually had to Google it and watch a video or something. But in order to fast travel, you open up your map and you look for what's called your respite. It's like this thing you place at your base. I don't think you have to have that. I think you can build anywhere you want. But yeah, it's kind of like the altar, but you place it and then you can fast travel back. It's basically a portal, right? Like you can fast travel to it. You can't. I don't think you can use it like a portal to go somewhere else, but you can fast travel back. But that's how you do it. That was just a tip that wasn't obvious to me. NPC has unlimited weight. Come on, really? I can only carry so much, but my NPC can carry as much as it wants. So of course, I took every heavy thing that would have weighted me down really early in the game. I just give it to the NPC.
Yeah, then you don't need the weight on your character anymore. It's pointless if you have that.
I mean, it's good that it's a mule for you, but how about limiting it too, so that the NPC starts walking slower or whatever, right? Like, or just stops. He's like, "Sorry, I'm overweight."
Yeah,
it just feels a little cheesy to use it for unlimited weight. How to raise your gear to level 20. I was watching a really popular streamer on Twitch who had like tens of thousands of subscribers.
Nice. Yeah.
And he didn't know how to raise his gear to level 20. He just didn't understand it because it's not quite obvious. Like your gear has a level, but then it tells you got to reach the gear level 20, and you're not even quite sure how to make a level piece of level 20 gear. So it just feels like it's not very intuitive to how you do that until you advance further and you're able to make that gear. And then you go, oh, of course. But it keeps telling you, you can't go in there. You can't do this until you're level 20. Or it says, find a way to raise your gear to level 20. And you're just like, well, how do I do it? It's not obvious from a beginning standpoint. Like once you play, it makes sense. Oh yeah, you have this thing. It's called a sling bow. It looks kind of like a crossbow.
Yeah, I saw it. It looks nice.
Yeah, no, it's fun. But everybody, I was seeing a bunch of people on the stream. They were like, how do you make arrows for it? or bolts? Because they thought it was a crossbow because it looks like a crossbow. Yeah. No. You use marbles. You shoots marbles. So it's another thing that just wasn't intuitive.
A description of something that will tell you that, because the bows in Viking tell you need this, or the crossbow too. It appears on you are out of bolts.
Well, you know how you get inundated with information and you get too much stuff and the interface isn't quite intuitive enough. That's kind of what's happening here. There's probably a description somewhere that tells you to use marbles for it, but you're just like so overwhelmed with everything. You're not reading everything, or you're not remembering everything. And then how to find a companion. People were just asking because they see other players with a companion. This isn't actually a problem with Nightingale, but people had the question. So the answer is just explore your realm. And I think over by the first vendor is where everybody is finding this first companion. And he gives you like a simple quest. And once you do it for him, he becomes your companion. And it's probably how more companions in the future work. But again, then throw all your rocks in him because he can carry unlimited weight, he or she. And then, press and hold E to loot.
Press and hold?
So, yeah, there's... it's been about a week since I've played, so I've forgotten the detail of that note. But I think, you know how like if you go up to a bush, in some games you could just click E and it loots it.
Yeah.
Like in Enshrouded. And in Valheim, you have to hit it, break it, and then you just run over the pieces and it loots it. In this game, when you run up to a bush, it says E. Right there, it says E, and there's a circle around it, and you press E and nothing happens. And you go, this is as a beginner. This is a very beginner. Pressed E and nothing happened. You got to press and hold E, and then you watch the circle complete, and then it loots it. And I'm just like, okay, just another weird intuitive thing that you're doing differently than other games.
Medieval Dynasty has it. Like you have a few things that you press, other things you hold, but it says press E, hold E.
Yeah, press E or hold E. No, this is just E in a circle, so you're left wondering why I'm pressing E, nothing's happening. But it's little things that can be fixed easily.
Yeah, I think the thing most people were like not complaining but saying that needs a little bit of more love is the UI. Like it needs a bit.
The UI needs a lot of work. Yeah.